Welcome to the Race Haven Radio Show and Podcast, your source for solutions-focused dialogue about race in America, with your host, Scott Speed.
Hello and welcome to the RaceHavenPodcast. I am your host, Dr. Scott Speed, and I'm joined by my friend and co-host, John Costino. John, how are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful, Dr. Scott Speed, and yourself?
Oh, I'm doing great, John. I appreciate you joining me on this episode. This is episode 36 of Race Haven, and it's titled The End of Race. And John, I'm excited to be doing this episode because it marks the end of something, but it also marks the beginning of something even greater. And that's new possibilities, working towards solutions, which was the original vision for this podcast and this Race Haven movement. So what I'd like to do is just kind of recap this Race Haven journey for our listeners, and then share with them what you and I learned through this journey, and then share with them what's the next phase of this journey. How's that sound, John?
That sounds fantastic. What a great way to end the year, my friend.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, again, thank you all for listening. For those of you who have been on this journey with us for all 36 episodes, for the total of about, 2 years now, since that we've been doing this show, and John joined me about halfway through. But the original vision of Race Haven was to have intelligent dialogue instead of debating and arguing and fighting, and just getting into our corners of what we all grew up indoctrinated with learning and who we should be and et cetera, and creating a platform for genuine curiosity, a genuine place for us to get to know one another, a genuine place for us to come together and breed solutions. And it initially started out as a Facebook group in 2014. In the fall of 2014, the Race Haven movement was birthed as a Facebook group. And then the following year, in the following year in 2016, and in the beginning of 2016, I believe January of 2016, is when the Race Haven podcast was born. And we've been podcasting for the last 2 years now. For the entire year of 2016 and 2017, we've had episodes. So that's 2 years of Race Haven episodes, and this is episode 36. And throughout this journey, since starting in 2014, to be candid, I'm a new person. I've changed. I've grown. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from those of you who are listening right now, who participate in the Race Haven group, which is called the Race Haven Community Dialogue Facebook group. It's a private group on Facebook. And I've learned so much from all of you, from the articles you've posted, from the dialogue, and even from the debates that have gone on in the group, from people inboxing, me to say thank you for this platform, to those inboxing me because they were pissed off about this platform, and just the various comings and goings of the people who've come and gone and shared thoughts and ideas. I've learned from all of it. And ultimately, I want to share what I've learned and also have John, since he joined this platform, and he joined me as a co-host who frequently joined on several of the shows throughout the last year, for John to share what he learned as well. So the main thing, and kind of that plays into the title of this show, is one of the things that I didn't know before starting the Race Haven, platform, was I literally did not know that race was a social construct. I had no concept of that. It's kind of like, analogy that's given of, a fish doesn't know they're swimming in water, unless they're taken out, right? Because you're just in your environment, and everything that is just is, and you rarely question the things around you because it's like breathing air. It's just everywhere. And race was something that was a part of my life growing up, and anyone who grew up, especially in the United States of America, race is just something that just is, right? It's politicized, it has culture, etc. And I never thought of it as a social construct. So when I was introduced to the concept that race is a man-made social construct, and then when I did further research and read about the origins of race and how society and culture was before race was introduced into it, and how society and culture has been since race was introduced into it, and more importantly, the reasons why the concept of race, the concept of white people, the concept of black people, etc., why that that language and those meanings and etc. were even introduced into society, I realized that it was introduced to society for reasons that aren't healthy, and those reasons have caused were rooted in a lot of dysfunction, and there's been a lot of dysfunction that's been perpetuated ever since. So along this journey, some of you may have noticed that I stopped using terms like white people and black people. Just that was one of the ways that I was able to personally reject the man-made social construct of race. And I've made other changes in my life as well, but that's one of the main things that I took away and I learned in this journey, and one of the ways that I chose to kind of take ownership of the knowledge that I gained, and one of the ways that I felt like I could live and be the change that I wanted to see in the world. So that's one thing that I wanted to share, and I want to punt to John really quick to see if he has one thing or a couple of things that he wants to share very briefly before I jump back in. So John, is there anything, any aha moments, any realizations, or just anything in general that maybe changed about you that since joining this Race Haven journey?
Well, honestly, Scott, out of respect for you and all the listeners, that would be a 4-hour answer, because I have grown in ways I didn't know existed. But to simplify it and give you the best answer to that question, to be as honest as I could possibly be, and you've known me for a while, I thought I was aware. I thought I was educated. I thought I was conscious. And I learned so many things participating not just in the calls, but more importantly, in reading, not even as much participating, but just reading and learning from the Facebook community, the Race Haven community on Facebook. And when I say learning, I say it very sincerely, because it was a very painful and very steep learning curve, in that I grew up naive. As a white guy who grew up in the suburbs of Philadelphia and South Jersey, I didn't have really clue one about what racism was, other than the polarizing ends of it. And you know what I mean by that. There's the angry people on both sides of that spectrum, and that's all I really understood.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of was fortunate enough to be, I say naive because it wasn't intentional. Much like you said, a fish doesn't know it's in water, it just knows it's home. And that's kind of how I grew up, with the whole concept of do no harm. But my biggest, I guess, realization was that racism is probably one of the understood and misused words in our society. And I'll let you correct me if you think I'm wrong, but what I mean by that is I think so many people just say racism or racist because it's the word they know and it's the word they've been indoctrinated into. But I believe that there is so much depth to that, where what people really mean is things like prejudice or bigotry. And that was a big thing for me, to realize the depths and the levels that go into the concept of racism, and then all of the terms that sprung from it, from white privilege and white supremacy, and how those words, those terms, those labels get thrown around casually by some people, and how they're polarizing for others. And it gave me that greater understanding and awareness that the word racism is going to mean so many different things to so many different people based on who they are, where they're from, how they were raised, and the experiences they had. So to sum it up, Scott, all I can say is it has been truly a blessing to be a part of this. It has been a tremendous experience going through this learning curve and learning process even like I said, in the Facebook community. And I feel very honored and privileged that you allow me to be a part of it and to continue as we move into this next phase that you're going to be sharing with everybody.
Wow, absolutely, John. Man, that's a great example. That the nuance and the complexity around what racism is and unpacking, what it is and what it means to different people. That's a great example of, just the levels in which, one can, kind of come into this awareness. So I appreciate you sharing that. Man, I could definitely jump in on that as well, and I'll save it for future shows, because we want to make this a very brief show, just to, say that this is the end of race, but the end of Race Haven. And what I mean by that is that, symbolically, I titled this show "The End of Race" because of what I just shared in terms of how I believe that basically, if it's a man-made social construct, can't we come together to make something new that works for all of us? That's the way I think. If man, other humans that breathe, that are long gone, created these social constructs, then why can't we come together as people and create new social constructs that will go forward and serve all of humanity in much more healthy ways, instead of continuing to perpetuate the old social constructs that did so much harm and continue to do harm. And that's why, John and listeners, it's so important that we move forward and we end Race Haven and we walk into what our new vision is going to be and our new platform is going to be, with John and I, as well as some others, and we're currently putting together a team of like-minded individuals to assist with the next movement, if you want to say, or the next initiative. And the name of that movement/initiative is going to be One Nation Indivisible. And what John and I discussed doing is coming together and not just, having a show like so many other podcasts or the news in general that literally just talk about whatever the hot button issue is of the day. One of the things that we discussed from day one with Race Haven was being solutions focused. And me personally, I can't just, wax poetic or speak intellectually about where we are. I need to be working towards solutions. John, I hope you don't mind me speaking for you, but John needs to be working towards solutions in the work that he does and the platforms that he currently leads. John leads people towards finding solutions and taking action in their lives. And this is why he and I resonate and we continue to work together on this, is because we want to be, a part of creating a platform and creating an awareness where we can come together, not just he and I, but even you guys, the listeners, can come together and put our heads together through dialogue, synergize, collaborate, to literally speak the reality that we want the world to be. And I think that's possible. John, what do you think about that? I think you may be on mute. Are you there, John?
I am on mute. Sorry about that. That's exactly it, Scott. That's the beautiful thing, is that we have set such a foundation and created such an awareness. There's so many people that care and that are contributing and that are putting their time and effort into it. Imagine now taking that foundation, that you've already started both on the community platform and on the podcast, and getting together a team of people that are focused only on solutions. Because bottom line is there are some people that aren't. There are some people that are not there yet. They're still in the venting stage, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all go through our stages of learning and behavior, but you have created such an amazing platform and community, and I'm very excited to see where this is going to go and to take your lead. Awesome.
So with that being said, again, I want to share with everyone the name of the next initiative is going to be called One Nation Indivisible, and it's currently under construction. It's going to be an entirely new podcast. We're going to create an entirely new Facebook group and Facebook page from which to, spur this initiative. We're looking to put together a team of people, again, who are like-minded. So if you're listening to this at the end of 2017 and starting out in January 2018, and you're interested in being a part and contributing some skills, whether it be behind the scenes. We need behind the scenes help in terms of production and marketing, et cetera. We also need individuals who can help facilitate the online community to make sure that the dialogues stay solutions focused. We want to do a better job of that with this new community. If we, have a team of people working on it, then it won't get overwhelming for any of us, et cetera. So we're going to be putting together all the details for all of that, and that should be wrapped up here by the close of this year, and looking to start in the first quarter of next year, this next initiative. So in terms of RaceHaven, I want everyone to know that you can email RaceHaven, and all these episodes will be available, will continue to be available. So I want to give you the details on that. So the email address going forward will be RaceHavenPodcast@gmail.com. Again, RaceHavenPodcast@gmail.com. And you can email us about anything, comments, et cetera, because these shows are always going to be out there. So, as this community grows, even with RaceHaven, we're not going to ignore it. We're going to, honor those emails and respond, and then hopefully move people over to the new initiative. And the shows will be able to be found on iTunes as well as on SoundCloud. And I'm also excited to announce that they're also going to be on YouTube in about a week or so. I've already started uploading some of the older episodes, and all of them will be uploaded within the next week or so. So RaceHaven will live forever on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. So with that being said, I'm really excited about moving forward this next initiative. I'm really excited about the framework that we're going to use to literally brainstorm solutions. We're going to talk about the issues, but we're going to make sure that we don't move forward unless we come up with solutions. I'm excited because we're going to introduce you guys to some new hosts and guest hosts who are going to be joining us. We're going to have new voices. We're going to have more diversity in perspectives, et cetera. And we're going to come back as a team that is totally committed to being solutions focused. We're going to be totally committed to blazing a trail and making sure that we do our part to leave the world better for our children and our grandchildren than the one we adopted and the ones that we inherited, and hopefully unpack a lot of this nuance and complexity so that we can all start speaking a new and improved language of unity and indivisibility. So with that being said, John, do you have any final words before we close out?
Nope. I'd just like to say again, thank you to you, Scott, for having the courage and the wisdom to create this platform and to really step up and lead the charge. I thank every single person, and kind of like you said at the beginning, it's not about agreeing with me. It's not about any of it. I appreciate every single person who participated because I learned something from everyone, and I've grown in ways, like I said, I didn't even know were possible because of the participation and because, honestly, of the passion that so many people brought to RaceHaven. So, Scott, it's been a tremendous couple of years. It's really crazy to say that, but yeah, it's been over a year. It's been like a year and a half we've been doing this together, and it's been a blessing. And all I can say is thank you. So as we close out 2017, I wish everybody, an amazing new year and a great 2018, and I look forward to our next phase.
Absolutely. So with that being said, again, all smarter when we think together. I love y'all. Peace.